another South Central Regional Library video. My name is Taya and I'm the summer reading programmer here at the Miami branch. Today we're going to be making pipe cleaner constellations and then talking a little bit about those constellations and the stories behind them according to Greek mythology. So all you're going to need is pipe cleaners, whatever color you'd like, beads that will fit onto the pipe cleaners, a pair of scissors, and some way to look at how the constellations look. So you can either do that by printing them out like I did, or you can just look them up on the internet. Hercules is the fifth largest constellation in the night sky. He's usually pictured as a kneeling man, and his foot rests on the head of Draco, a nearby constellation representing a dragon. This constellation is found in the Northern Hemisphere and is best seen in July around 9 p.m. One of the brightest stars in this constellation is actually a cluster of stars that contains hundreds of thousands of stars. According to Greek mythology, Hercules was a hero who had amazing strength and courage. His father was Zeus, the king of the gods, and his mother was a human. Hercules was assigned 12 tasks to make up for something that he did wrong. All the tasks seemed impossible, but somehow he managed to complete them. The constellation Orion is also known as the Hunter. Most people picture Orion as a warrior, holding a club above his head and a lion skin or a shield in front of him. This constellation is visible from almost anywhere on Earth between October and March, but the best time to see this constellation is at about 9 p.m. in late January. The easiest way to recognize the Orion constellation is by finding the group of 3 stars that are said to make up his belt. They appear close together in a straight line. According to Greek mythology, Orion was a great and handsome hunter. According to one story, he loved the goddess Artemis, who was also a hunter. Artemis was the goddess of the moon, and her brother Apollo was the god of the sun. Unfortunately, her twin brother Apollo didn't like Orion, so he got rid of him by placing him in the sky as a constellation. The Pegasus constellation is usually pictured as the winged horse in Greek mythology. This constellation appears in the northern hemisphere between September and January. It reaches its highest point in the sky around 10 p.m. on October 15th. It can also be seen in the southern hemisphere, although it is not as visible there. The 4 stars that make up the body of the horse are known as the Great Square of Pegasus. 3 of the stars in the Great Square of Pegasus belong to the Pegasus constellation, but the 4th star belongs to a neighboring constellation, Andromeda. According to Greek mythology, Pegasus was a horse with wings. He was created when the hero Perseus cut off the head of Medusa, a monster who had snakes for hair. The Pegasus sprang from the blood of Medusa. A young man captured him and tried to ride him all the way to Olympus, but because Pegasus knew that the gods didn't want any humans in Olympus, he bucked him off. The king of the gods, Zeus, rewarded Pegasus with a place in the heavens and turned him into a constellation. The name of this constellation, Ursa Major, translates to the Great Bear. People in the Northern Hemisphere can see this constellation throughout the year. In the autumn, it appears close to the horizon. In the spring, it is high in the night sky. In April and May, between 9 and 10 p.m., Ursa Major appears almost directly overhead. 7 bright stars within Ursa Major form a star pattern that many of us can recognize easily. It is called the Big Dipper. The Greek myth behind this constellation is that the king of the gods, Zeus, fell in love with a nymph named Callisto, who was later turned into a bear. Of course, Zeus's wife Hera did not like that her husband fell in love with another woman, so, to protect Callisto, Zeus put her in the stars as a constellation. This constellation's name, Cygnus, means swan in Latin. so it makes sense that it is usually pictured as a swan in flight. Cygnus is visible from the northern and southern hemispheres. In the northern hemisphere, Cygnus first appears in late May. It is best seen in mid-August, and it dips below the horizon in December. In the southern hemisphere, Cygnus may be seen in winter and spring, and it stays near the horizon. Deneb is the brightest star in the Cygnus constellation. Deneb is also part of the Summer Triangle, which is an asterism. An asterism is a pattern of stars that is not a constellation. The other two stars that form the Summer Triangle are Vega and Altair. There are many different stories that try to explain how Cygnus became a constellation. In one Greek myth, Cygnus is said to represent Zeus, who once turned himself into a swan to try and woo a human, Leda. Now, why he wouldn't just turn himself into a human to try to woo another human, I'm not sure. I really hope you guys enjoyed making these constellations and learning about them, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!